Welcome everyone to Health Coach TV. I'm your host, Dr. Shaunna Menard, and I am here with the awesome Shannon Ruth. Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you, Dr. Shaunna.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to give you a proper introduction. And for those of you who are watching or listening, if you have IBS, if you've struggled with stubborn belly fat or any of that, you're definitely going to want to tune in, grab a pen, and you're going to love this. So Shannon Ruth helps women eliminate IBS and lose weight naturally and regain their self-confidence. After 15 years as a physician assistant, she was stressed out, overweight, and tired of struggling with her own IBS symptoms, and she discovered a strategy for a healthier lifestyle. Now, as a certified integrative nutrition health coach, her passion is to provide women with the necessary tools to make these lifestyle changes that will help them eliminate the IBS and lose weight with ease. So she lives with her husband and 2 teenage children in a beautiful mountain town of Evergreen, Colorado. So welcome, Shannon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right into it. How is it? What is it that you do now? What exactly would you say that you do now?
Yeah, well, so I'm a health coach and I teach women with irritable bowel syndrome to eliminate their symptoms, lose weight with ease, increase their energy, and really boost their self-esteem so they can live their best life.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. And I know you're so good at this and you have the personal experience and the professional experience to kind of back it up, fill it in. So tell us, like, how was it that you went from sort of being a physician assistant to doing the work that you're doing now? How did that happen? Tell us a bit of your story.
Yeah, well, I've always been passionate about health and wellness. And part of my career as a physician assistant, I was working in gastroenterology. And as providers, we didn't really appreciate the severity of symptoms for people with IBS. And we should just say that, these symptoms are benign, there's nothing to worry about. So this is really why I let my IBS symptoms go on for such a long period. And I just started to accept them as normal part of my life and my daily routine. And my daily routine revolved around these symptoms and really just controlled my life. But the moment I realized that working as a PA was really a health hazard, I turned my focus on improving my health and the health of my family. And I figured out how to eliminate my IBS, as well as my husband's acid reflux and my daughter's asthma. So it was at this point I decided to switch my work from sick care to preventative care. And I became a health coach to help other people eliminate their IBS symptoms.
Awesome. I love that. So that's a pretty profound, like the whole family's getting healthier, which is fantastic. And I know you are a big proponent of family health as well. And I like what you said, when you go to, in the gastroenterologist, IBS, from their point of view, okay, great. It's not cancer or it's not something else you don't have a bowel obstruction. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And yet for the person struggling with it, it's a big deal. I know that as a radiologist, and for those of you listening who don't know, I was 25 years as a medical doctor myself and in ultrasound radiology. And, we would notice people who had fatty livers. And at one, I noticed the dramatic rise in fatty livers that we observed. But my medical colleagues, I have a good friend who's a surgeon, and he sees the report and sees fatty liver. He's like, he doesn't even mention that to his patients because, that's nothing, that's fine. It's so common. It seems like normal, but it's not normal. And so I can see how, in the traditional, there's other things that they have to deal with. If you have a bowel obstruction, let's go to the doctor and get them to take care of that surgically because we've got ourselves backed into a corner. But for the 90% of people who are coming with symptoms that are not that severe, like maybe everybody actually, with the state of their gut health, there are some things to do. So for you to turn around your family's health, your husband's IBS, his acid reflux, eliminate your IBS, and then your daughter's asthma to turn that around, that's powerful. How'd you do that? How did you eliminate that? Tell us more about that process.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I put up with these symptoms for so many years, about 30 years. But once I decided to make the lifestyle change, I started researching all the conflicting information out there about irritable bowel syndrome. And I discovered it required more than just following the low FODMAP diet. First, I realized I had to conquer my sugar cravings to really restore my healthy gut flora to optimize the absorption of really key nutrients. And then secondly, I discovered everyone's different. So everybody's different in their food intolerances. So what works for one person may not work for another. And I had to figure out my unique intolerances to food in order to eliminate my IBS. And now my sugar cravings are gone. I'm no longer worried about the urgent need for a bathroom. I can fit into my jeans. I'm pain-free. And I really kind of feel like a teenager again because I gained so much energy.
That's awesome. I love that. It's really profound. And I think, some people might not have yet, some may have, but some might not yet have. And we'll talk more about this as we go here, that link between sugar and IBS. So when they're like having chronic diarrhea or urgency or like some bloating and things, they're not going, I bet it's the sugar. I don't think for most people, it's that there's that link up. So they're not really getting that. So good. So you have this dramatic turnaround in your own health. You kind of take control of your own health. Things that you kind of let slide and grumble for decades now are, which probably you thought it's just the way I am. It's this is just my constitution, my digestion. It's just the way it has to be. I've seen that a lot of times. So you come onto the other side of it and you're like, wow, that's amazing. So is that what led you to become a health coach?
Absolutely. I wanted to help others who are suffering from IBS to break free from their symptoms, just as I did. But unfortunately, Western medicine has not caught up with the progress of functional medicine. So there's a lot of providers out there who are offering up advice that just simply doesn't work. And they're trying to eliminate IBS symptoms with medication. So unfortunately, these medications, they don't address the root cause of an individual's IBS, and they often lead to other health problems.
Yeah, so it's kind of like masking, like Band-Aid over it, but the actual problem, it's dealing with the symptoms, but the actual problem we didn't get right to the root of. Yeah. And more and more, I think more people are like getting that, that's where we really have, if we're going to fix this, if we're going to get to the root of it, you got to yank that weed out by the roots. So how do you work with people? How do you help? How does this work? How do you help these people get on the other side of their IBS and other symptoms?
Right. So most of my clients are women who have tried and failed to eliminate their symptoms for years, and they're suffering from bloating, abdominal pain, urgent diarrhea, and this weight gain. And they really come to me looking to be free of their IBS, controlling their lives sort of the way it did for me. So I take them from where they are, abdominal pain, bloating, overweight, and I walk them step by step through my program, and I get them to the other side so that they're pain-free. They have predictable bowel movements, weight loss, and really an increased energy. And I work with people very closely and virtually, making it easy to work with anyone, anywhere. And there's plenty of accountability and support, but also they know exactly what to do to get on the other side of their IBS. So the most important thing is that my clients actually get results.
Yeah, that's really great. And I think the key thing is accountability and support too. It's one thing to know what to do, but as you were saying before, it's unique, right? It's about their unique food intolerances. So there's probably a little bit of detective work there to find out for them. I know myself, for decades, I got sick with broccoli. Broccoli's a really great health food. And for a while, avocados were just not good for me. They're great, healthy. You can find lots of good studies, but when I ate them, not so much. So it's about kind of working really customized closely. So I appreciate that, you kind of that. And then once they know what to do, once they know exactly what to do, wow, it's so empowering to do that. One of the things that I like to do in these health coach TV interviews is when I have somebody who's an expert in their field is to kind of pick their brain a little bit, because you see the problem from a unique perspective, both as a coach, but as someone who suffered with it and got on the other side of it. So there's some value in that perspective. So what would you say is the biggest myth when it comes to IBS from your perspective?
Right. I mean, what I would say the biggest myth surrounding IBS is that it's benign, and it's really not. It's that idea that I had for so many years that these are just, it's diarrhea, it's no big deal. Most people have it, but most people with IBS, they suffer from this chronic diarrhea, which means that nutrients from the food that they're eating is not getting absorbed. And so they suffer from deficiencies in key nutrients like folate, magnesium, or the B vitamins. And these deficiencies can actually lead to other health problems like fatigue, depression, and really a lot more, many more problems that can be a lot worse.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say that there's someone, let's say there's a mom and she's got IBS, or she doesn't even maybe know she has IBS, but she's like, some of these things they're talking about are similar. Like, I got this stubborn weight and I got this bloating, and I'm starting to have to plan my trips to the grocery store, my errands around where are their bathrooms. It's starting to affect my life.
Right.
I don't have the energy to keep up with my family and the demands, and some of this is resonating with me. So now it's like I'm kind of like where she was before. So she's like, okay, well, that's really good. Help. Now what do I do? Give me something that I can actually do. So what would be some tips for this woman to implement, like today, something she can do to kind of help get on the other side of it? And everybody grab a pen. Here's some stuff.
Okay. I would say if you do have IBS, the best thing you could do for yourself is to detox from sugar. So it's not as hard as it may seem, and there are huge benefits. So sugar is actually the #1 cause for belly fat. So not only will you improve your health by eliminating this belly fat, but you'll also start healing your IBS, and you'll look great. So maybe the question is, how do you do that? How do you detox from sugar? Well, one simple step is to eliminate sugary drinks and start drinking more water. So, the people on average need about 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. That's not very much. The average Coke has around 9¼ teaspoons of sugar. So if you eliminate these sugary drinks, you're well on your way of detoxing yourself from sugar. Another simple step is really just to become more aware of where your sugar is hiding. It's not just in food, but it's in other drinks like Starbucks. And this really isn't to shame Starbucks in any way, but many of us would go through Starbucks, not really just picking up a drink in the afternoon and not thinking about what's in it. But these are very high sugar drinks, and they create a vicious cycle. So what happens is you craving this drink, you go get the drink, you consume it, your blood sugar goes up. And with that high blood sugar, your pancreas releases insulin because of that sugar spike. And insulin's job is to take sugar out of the blood system and store it in the belly as fat. So now your blood is low, very low in sugar, and it just starts this vicious cycle again. So once you're low in sugar, it starts this craving for more sugar. And so you go after junk food or something that has a high content in sugar. So it just creates a very vicious cycle when you drink these very sugary drinks.
Yeah.
So.
And they're everywhere now, and it's up to the person's individual choice. I mean, you can get a herbal tea at Starbucks and it doesn't have sugar. So, it's up to the person as to far as what they're, what they're choosing, what their choices are. And so they do have choice in that. But a lot of times they look at the menu kind of thing and they think everything's equivalent. Like, there's a coffee, which would have no sugar just on its own, a tea, which would have no sugar on its own, or one of those other things on the list. And I remember looking years ago, and there was like a strawberries and cream Frappuccino event, and without the whipped cream, and I can't remember the specifics now, but it had as much sugar and calories as a Big Mac. And I'm like, people would not think, oh, I'm going to go on my way home from work, before I have dinner at home, I'm going to swing by and grab a Big Mac on my way home to make dinner. Nobody thinks that, but they would say, I'm going to swing by and just grab a coffee or grab a smoothie or grab a drink on the way home and not realize it. And I think that's really a part, especially that our younger generation too. You know, it used to be, you know, people in high school were skinny. And then when they got older, they put on some weight. But now our kids are heavier, and it's kind of like everywhere. That sugar is immersed everywhere. I think you and I looked up some drinks at one point when we were having our discussions, and it's really astounding how much sugar is actually in these. And I know I did some like talks way back, and I would line up all these different sugary drinks, including like a Coca-Cola, but I'd have like different iced teas and other things and water. And I'd say, okay, everybody, tell me, which one do you think has the most sugar and which one has the least? And the only one they ever got right was water. Had none, but they always put like a Coke as the heaviest, and it was not the most in sugar. Anything that you've come across in terms of any in terms of that at all? You know.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you and I were talking about this earlier, how, and I mentioned Starbucks, like how I think it's a venti white chocolate mocha drink has 3 times the amount of daily sugar in one drink, right? So it had around, what did we say, like 15 teaspoons?
Yeah, it was like 18 teaspoons. Yeah, like 73 grams of sugar. 73 in one drink.
And you only need 6 teaspoons a day. So.
Yeah. So even a Coke only had, what did you say, like 9
and a quarter.
And so this is like twice as much as a Coke. And the thing is, and people aren't aware, and then it's sneaking in. And then you did so beautiful a job just explaining how that spikes your blood sugar and how that leads to belly fat is one thing. And you mentioned sugar as key in causing belly fat. You kind of outlined that. So what's the big deal with belly fat? So wear a bigger top, looser top, wear black, whatever. What's the big deal with why is belly fat so important or dangerous to be aware of?
Right. Well, belly fat is not just unsightly, it's actually an indicator of poor health. So the fat around in your abdomen is unlike any other fat on your body. It produces signals from the organs that it surrounds into the blood, causing inflammation throughout the body. So this inflammation actually causes other chronic health problems like heart disease, diabetes, dementia, and really a lot more. That's just a few of quite a few. So, and you need to clear that belly fat to actually improve your overall health, to understand your IBS better. And I created this analogy, and it's like being at a rock concert. And you're at a rock concert, and maybe somebody is in the crowd crying for help. It's difficult to distinguish where the cry is coming from with all this extra noise. But if the band stops playing, you can actually locate the individual needing help. Well, in a lot of ways, your body's sort of similar. The belly fat causes a host of symptoms, making a lot of noise, making it difficult to understand what's causing your IBS. And so once you eliminate the extra symptoms or noise due to the belly fat, it's easier to determine any food intolerances causing your IBS.
I love that analogy. Don't you guys love that analogy? That is so good. And then it kind of makes sense. Oh, I get it. So I like that. I like how you teach and explain and make some of these complex and conflicting information just really simple and easy to follow. So that makes a lot of sense. So when you're working with people and in your own experience, what are because once we're getting to the root cause here, what are some of the spin-off benefits of healing someone's IBS, of detoxing them from sugar? What are some of the spin-off benefits that you've seen with your clients?
Right. Well, when you detox from sugar, you gain an incredible amount of energy. And I think I told you I felt like a teenager after I detoxed from sugar. Well, I realized this one winter night when I was playing ice hockey with my son out on a rink, and we were playing hard. I was trying to get the puck from him, and we were just having so much time that I completely lost track of time. But at one point, I looked up, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law off to the side, not participating in the game at all. They weren't playing at all. And what I realized is that used to be me. I was the one, the parent, sitting off at the side, not participating because I didn't have the energy to play sports with my kids. And I was usually too tired at night to really do any activity at all. So you just gain an incredible amount of energy when you detox from sugar. And not only that, you boost your self-confidence when you lose weight. So that dangerous belly fat actually just sort of vanishes. You feel great about fitting into your clothes again, about going out again, and not hiding out in your bathroom. So once you actually detox from sugar, your body naturally goes back into this energy balance. Weight comes off almost unintentionally, and you're at a healthier weight, and you just naturally feel confident again. One of my clients, her spouse said that her transformation was so profound that she finally found herself, or that she got her mojo back. And then I had another male client where I was working with him, and losing weight was not the intention. It was really to improve his gut health. And after getting rid of his GI symptoms, he lost this weight, but he also improved his sleep. So it was just another, bonus benefit. And who knows when what we are preventing by getting rid of this toxic belly fat. So it's really just a spin-off benefit in work and productivity and relationships. So it's all good.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that you shared that. So, so this has been awesome and amazing, and it's really powerful. So it's like when you heal your IBS, and or when you detox from sugar, your whole life can change. More energy, wearing great clothes again, feeling better again, having confidence again, being able to connect with people again, being able to perform better at work again, being a great role model for your kids. All kind of everything changes. Skin, hair, all sorts of things, just have that great ripple effect. So it's worth it. It's worth it. But I know you understand what it feels like to be in the before side too. So if somebody here is like listening to you and you're like, this all sounds good, how can people connect with you? How can they find you? How can they ask you questions? They might be like, yeah, that's all good, but here's what I got going on. And what do you do with that? So if they have questions, how can they find you, Shannon?
Well, I think the best way is just head over to my website. It's called growinguphealthytogether.com. And there's more information about me and ways to connect.
Awesome. Awesome. So that website again is growinguphealthytogether.com. Growinguphealthytogether.com. A big part of what Shannon stands for is helping families be healthy. So it starts with the mom, and then she has that ripple effect on her family. So that's sort of near and dear. Her whole family got healthy, and she wants everybody else's whole families to be healthy too. So growing up healthy together. Well, this has been, and so there's a way that they can connect with you, chat with you, ask you questions, that kind of stuff there, find out a little bit more about all of this good stuff. And you're continually, and it's Shannon Ruth, if you want to seek her out are you on social media at all, Shannon?
I am. I have Facebook as well as Instagram, and it's Health Coach Shannon Ruth on Instagram.
Health Coach Shannon Ruth on Instagram if you want to follow her there. And Shannon Ruth on Facebook?
Yes.
Shannon Ruth on Facebook. Awesome. So with that, I just want to thank you so much for sharing this and sharing with our listeners. And to all of you, thank you for tuning in. If you have questions, if there's topics that you want to cover, just, comment below or send me a message. I'm always happy to do these interviews because there are things that we can do. And sometimes when we're struggling with things, we don't think that there's any hope. So I want to thank you, our listeners. And that's it for another episode of Health Coach TV. Be good for you.